Hi, this is Ashley with Publish with Ashley, where I talk about how to make money online. And I talk a lot about low content books, techniques to create and make them, help advertise and sell better, create your brand. I also will talk to you about merch by Amazon and making t-shirts and print on demand and also Etsy printables. So if you like that sort of thing, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I would love to have you here. Okay, so what we're going to do today is I have a playlist on YouTube that is about tips and tricks for PowerPoint. So I'm going to talk about, in this particular video, about how to create these numbers and have different effects inside the numbers. And so if you were creating a 2020 planner, you could do different effects in that. You could also put pictures. These are just colored papers, but you could also put pictures too. Okay, so how do you do this? It's pretty simple. It's actually really simple in PowerPoint. So I'm going to go to my new slide. I'm going to go to the Insert tab up at top, and I'm going to insert a text box. Okay, I'm just going to make a big text box here, and I'm going to put 2020. I'm going to hit enter 2022, right? And then I'm going to make sure I've clicked on the whole box. I'm going to center it, and I'm going to make it a different font and bigger. I like this Annotrace for this kind of thing, just something bold and blocky. You can use anything you want. I just, for this example, like this. And I'm just going to make it bigger using the up size. If you know what size, you can just enter it in. Okay, those are pretty big. And I want a little space between them. So what I'm actually going to do is click down here on the paragraph, and I'm going to just change that before spacing to 12. And it gives me a little bit more space. Let me center that. All right, so we've got 2022 right there. Now what we're going to do is we are going to highlight one of the numbers, and we're going to make sure we have format shape opened. There's a few ways to open it. The easiest way I've always found to open it is actually if you go over here to design and you do format background, it has this come up. But then once you select the number 2, it will show up. So remember, that was design, format background, and then once you select it, you're going to have the format shape come up. That's just the way I found that's easiest. You can also right click on it, hit format shape, and things will come up, but I just like to do it this way. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to text options. You have to be in text options because you're filling in the text. And we go to picture or texture fill, and it's going to fill it in what I was using previously. But I'm going to change that. I'm going to insert. So it's going to think for a second. And it's going to come up, and you're going to hit from file. And in the example, I had these dots. So I'm going to hit the dots, and it's going to fill it in with those red dots. Now, if you feel it's too squished, because what it tries to do is fit it into the size you have, that paper, it's trying to fit it in. So if you don't like that, you can hit tile, and that makes the dots bigger, but I kind of liked it a little smaller like that. So I'm going to keep it smaller even though the dots are a little squished. And then what I'm going to do is do that for the next one, is highlight the 0 there. I'm going to make sure I'm in text options. I'm going to hit picture or texture fill, and see it's going to have basically put in what I had before, which if you're using the same pattern, that's really convenient. But I'm going to insert something else from a file, and I am going to use, I think I use this. We're going to insert that, and I like that. So then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to go to picture or texture fill. Oops, see, I was in shape options. That's exactly what you want to make sure you're not in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit undo. My undo is here. You can also find the undo in the home tab. It's usually here. But I'm going to undo, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I'm on the text options, picture or texture fill. So it's not the end of the world if you mess up. It's okay. Just undo and try again. Make sure you're in the text options, picture fill, insert from file. And I'm going to pick, what did I pick for the example? I think I picked these stripes. So I have stripes. Now I'm going to do, oops, it's easier to get that to that way. Again, highlight, picture fill. I'm going to insert from file, and I'll use this box, red box thing over here. All right, there we go. That's it. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to highlight the whole thing. You can also highlight the box since you're doing it to all. I'm going to go to text options again, and I'm going to go down here to text outline. You don't have to do this, but I think this is kind of nice. You do this solid line, and I'm going to scroll down. Here we go. Now I've got solid line. I want to make sure it's black. Sometimes mine comes up as blue, but I want to make sure it's black. I'm going to increase the width so I can see it really well. We'll do to 3. Yeah, 3 looks really nice, very bold. Now, some of the other things you can do, you can fiddle with these different line patterns. I'll show you what this looks like. I think I don't think that looks very good, but I just like the bold line. But there are some effects that might look cool. You can also fiddle with, like if you want dashed lines or something like that, maybe a stitching. I was doing something with fabric and I outlined it with like a stitch, and it looked really cool because it looked like the fabric was stitched onto the cover. So you can play with it. For this particular design, I'm just going to use the straight line, okay? Now what I'm also going to do is I'm going to go over to shape options now, the little paint can right here, but we're going to go one over from the paint can to the pentagon, and we're going to hit the shadows. So I hit shadow, presets, and I'm going to go to this outer one. You can pick different things, but it kind of gives it some depth. You can see the shadows around the edges, and you have a very bold, look. I like it. It sets it out from a page. It makes it stand out. Now, what I'm going to do, just to finish this off, I'm going to insert. I'm going to go over here and have another text box, and I'm going to type planner. Highlight the box and then center up here, and then I'm going to change the font. I'm going to use this Bake Soda. It's a font I've purchased. I just think a script font looks nice. It's nice and bold and legible. And I'm just going to make it bigger till I feel that it's big enough, and then I'm going to move it so that it feels centered between. There, that looks pretty good. Now if I wanted, I can also do some shading on this. So I can go over here to my format shape, the pentagon again, and add a shadow. And there, I like that. And you can see how that really stands out. I just did these fun red and green colors because I had these papers, but you could also insert pictures. I've done this really effectively with pictures of sunsets, with oceans, and things like that that kind of have vivid colors. And it looks really good. But I just wanted to show you how you can do this really easy in PowerPoint. It's a great tool to have in your arsenal to try and do something a little bit different. But this kind of can give you an idea that PowerPoint can probably do more than you think it can. You just have to use it creatively. All right, so that is it for this tutorial. I hope you found this really helpful. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already for tips and tricks. And I will make sure that this playlist of tips and tricks for PowerPoint is up here on the screen so that you can check out the other items in this playlist, and I intend to add to it. All right, have a wonderful day. Thanks.